everybody, it's week 19 here at the Victory Garden. It's September 1st, so we're kind of getting to that point in the year where we're really focused a lot on harvesting things and just tidying things up and getting kind of set for winter. But never fear, there's still a couple good weeks of harvesting crops and tending, the flowers and herbs. So we're going to go in the garden and take a look at what we've got going on. Alright, so here we are. If you remember a couple weeks ago, this whole section was just being taken over by squash plants, and they are really starting to die back, and we're actually able to see a lot more of the squash that have been growing here. And we are going to leave these. They're still curing, as we talked about in the last couple weeks, so they're still getting a hard rind, and we're just going to leave them out here until the plants totally die back and until they're nice and firm and good storage quality. And then we also took up all of the root crops here, and you can see we've made a nice new bed where we've planted a nice new spinach bed. So here's something that's cool, our pepper plant. You see we've got some nice green peppers, but we've got one here that we didn't harvest early on, and so it is actually turning red. All of your peppers, if you leave them on the plant for long enough, they will start to turn colors. Oftentimes they're not going to make it that long. You're going to eat them first, but this is just kind of fun. If you've got a lot of peppers, you can leave one on the plant and just watch it change colors.
Let's take a look at our tomatoes here. Earlier in the year, I had expressed doubt about tomato cages, and in fact, at one point, this had completely fallen over from the weight of the tomatoes. And I went ahead and put a T-post in here and tied the tomato cage to the T-post. And now I have to say that this is actually a really well trellised tomato plant with very little work. And so I guess what I'm feeling now is that if a person were to just use a tomato cage and then put the T-post in right away, and then really the tomato does the work of trellising for you because it just grows right up through. It's easy to prune out outliers. Yeah, it's very easy to pick the plant. So this summer has kind of changed my tune on tomato cages. So take a look at, how easy this plant is to harvest from. I also want to point out I've been harvesting tomatoes this morning. And I think what we're going to do with these is we're going to throw them in the freezer, and then Sal and I are going to do a little cooking demo on using your frozen tomatoes. Now let's take a look at the compost pile. We haven't looked at this for a few weeks. I'm just going to dig into the pile in the center a little bit here, and as you can see, it's decomposing really nicely. So the thing to do now would be to mix it again, because as you can see on the outside, there's a lot of fresh stuff that we've been adding. So if we mix it again with this, then that can decompose. This is probably a good stage to start a new pile. If you want to be able to use your compost, you really kind of need to decide at some point that you're done adding things to the pile, and then you can mix it up and start a new pile. If you keep adding to it, then you're always going to have undecomposed matter in it. So that's what we'll do here. We'll mix it up and we'll start a new pile in a new location.
I'm just gonna try to get some of these worms in here so you can see there are just worms all over the place in here, helping with the decomposition process of the soil. So they're doing all the hard work for us.
Let's check out some other garden fauna too.
Oh, that was a good one.
And here our caterpillars are getting bigger. And we've got quite a few of them. Cool. So let's take a look at our flowers here. The tithonia are still blooming, but they are also starting to, some of the older flowers are starting to die back. And you can see that the center of the flower, that would be this part right here, is where the seeds are. And so this one is actually one that has died back and is producing seed. So flowers are actually a really good place to start seed saving because they can be pretty straightforward. So literally all I have to do is once this is dry, I can pick this off and then I can just pull this apart, and next year I have seeds to plant some more Tithonia. Well, thanks for coming. I think that's it for this week. As always, you can leave questions in the comments and use the Facebook page. We'd love to see pictures of how your gardens are doing. And as I mentioned, sometime in September, I think we're gonna try and do a cooking show and use up some of those frozen tomatoes that I picked today. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.